Okay, I want to tell you about Lausanne. Lausanne is this town on Lake Geneva. When you're taking the train from Zurich to Geneva, which I often do at around sunset, you see this, you're on this hillside coming into Lausanne, vineyards, beautiful lake. And it made me really excited to learn from someone who's living in Lausanne. So Michael Watkins at IMD Business School, he talks about strategic thinking. How can you tell if someone is a good strategist? Is nature and nurture, but you've got to look out for 6 points. Why am I talking about strategic thinking? Because we're looking for hedge fund managers who are great strategists. They've built their strategy based on an understanding of patterns, of systems, of political realities, of a vision for the future, being able to structure problem solving and having mental agility. The complicated thing about hedge fund managers, and perhaps why they make a lot of money if they're really good, is that at the same time as being a great strategist, you have to be a tactician. You have to play the field in front of you, and that field is constantly changing. You have to have that short-term tactical ability to trade markets, to respond and mitigate risks live as they occur. So you've got to have those two quite different skill sets of slow thinking and fast thinking, as Kahneman talks about. So let's just drill down a bit with the help of Michael Watkins. What does he talk about? He talks about pattern recognition. Now I want to bring a real example, Stan Druckenmiller. Many people say Stan Druckenmiller is the best trader or hedge fund manager of all time. He's annualized around 30% over a decades-long career, never a losing year. There was a year he was down quite a lot and he got lucky and made it up, and he's humble to say that. But so many decades of success is pretty telling, especially taking high risks and big slugs that Druckenmiller took, especially when he was influenced by George Soros. If you're confident, you take bigger bets. That's not something we look for in our hedge funds. We're obsessed with them being obsessed with risk mitigation. But let's focus on Stan Druckenmiller for a bit. Stan has this immense ability to recognize patterns. He's got a lot of experience, but what he calls gut instinct, that gut feeling, that ability to sense where markets are going, what they're feeling, what market participants are doing. He has this ability, obviously nature and also nurture. And yet he says, I'm not the best technical trader out there. I'm not trading patterns, momentum very well. That's why I build one of the best teams out there to support me, understanding structurally where the market is at and trading accordingly. He and his team understand the systems behind the patterns, the inflows and outflows, the passive and the active investors, the levered and unlevered investors, the different motivations of the investors, the different time horizons of investors, to know where he can get into the market, make a profit, and get out. Stan Druckenmiller has also exhibited incredible mental agility. He gives examples of when he was really long a trade, when he was all in, then on the flip of a dime, sorry for that Americanism, he went short. He turned 180 degrees. Traders typically fall in love with their positions. They convince themselves of a position, they start making money in that position, then they fall in love. And to have that mental agility, to flip, not just to turn the trade off and to sell, but to short is incredible. And he's proved time and again that he's able to make money that way, which is pretty unique, or at least rare. I wouldn't say unique. There are many, many good traders out there, but to be able to do that over so long is incredible. Finally, I'd say two more things. To be a visionary. Stan Druckenmiller has a sense, and probably Buffett's really good at this. The long term, where are markets going? How do I expect things to change over the long term? And how do I need to change my tactics because of the longer term impacts? And I'd say the final point after that is politics. In order to be a strategist, you need to understand politics and be politically savvy, whether it be within your organization or externally. And from what I've learned and read and seen online, Stan's interviews, he actually tries to depoliticize, to stay out. No one heard Stan Druckenmiller's name with the ERM crisis in the UK when George Soros got famous for shorting the pound. Stan Druckenmiller's longevity and success, I think, has been a lot due to being politically inactive, being savvy, but not being at the furnace place of politics. All these parts, now we know what good looks like. Now we know what Stan Druckenmiller does. We're trying to find resonances in other hedge fund managers, in younger managers, in managers without decades of track record on paper to show that they are excellent strategists. But keeping very clearly in mind what good looks like is a great starting point. For more content like this, please subscribe to our Encounter Capital channel and please comment below. Thank you very much.